Blessed be. Today is July 17th, and it is National Lottery Day. I thought that was a very interesting choice to want to highlight even before social purposes. And it made me wonder, why is this a thing? And then, why do we even have the lottery? So I just did a, quick um, AI inquiry. What is the economic advantage of having, why would a state or government have a lottery? And the response was really interesting because it's got to do with how it is an opportunity to gain more income on a voluntary basis. It's kind of considered a voluntary tax. And that can help offset the need to raise taxes on property taxes or income tax. And this system allows a low level of resistance because it's not increasing what people are spending um, obligatory towards funding. It is just general taxation. And each state gets to allocate how that money gets spent individually. So whether it's for education, for roads, infrastructure, that's all up to the state. And with that though, while it becomes a voluntary tax, then you start looking into the frame of who are the people who predominantly play the lottery. And they're going into some statistics that it is a lower income person more likely to play the lottery, where that loss of, you know, that financial investment into that opportunity takes a bigger hit than somebody who runs in a higher tax bracket. Because when you are making less and there's the opportunity for reward to get ahead, you are more likely to see the advantage of taking the risk. And so it kind of disproportionately taxes our system. I don't particularly play the lottery often. I can't say I've never bought a ticket, and I've been in some of those work pools that when it reaches a certain amount, everybody can pitch in a couple bucks. And yeah, that didn't really pan into anything, but that's fine. But for lottery, I will do fundraising lotteries. You can do 50-50 raffles and stuff like that. So there can be advantages to this kind of arrangement to raise money. It's, I think, a very interesting concept with still pros and cons either way. And it's Friday. I actually only have a few minutes before I go to do what I need to do next. And I am going to plow through this weekly review. And I tried to make sure I was putting in the extra items of activities that I'm doing in the evening. Let's see how well I did. Okay, let's see how this went. And not bad. I did a pretty good job of documenting just, again, some of that mundane activity that deserves its recognition for my efforts to complete it. Again, made it to the gym all 5 days. I've been focused on this project where I found a large batch of electronic data that needs sorted through. There's multiple versions of the same thing in different folders, and I need to condense it because if these are like, if it's a workbook, how do I know which one is the current copy? You know, if I stumble onto it later on, how do I even know it lived somewhere else? So my goal is to go through them and see if it still offers value. And if it does, what is the value? And again, as I go through this, where am I going to find these duplicates and decide which one to keep and which one to get rid of? This is a long and tedious process, but it is really helping me get this information under control, because without that, it's relatively useless for me to own that much information because I can't get anything useful from it until it's safe to trust that the worksheet I'm opening is my latest and greatest, and it's organized in a way, you know, that I can function with it. We'll see how that one goes, but I have been making nice small strides with it. I'm pretty happy. Socializing, did my weekly review, got the oil changed, regular cleaning, just things like that. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I moved the needle of just general responsibilities that needed done. But what didn't get done? I did not call our trash services to inquire about what it takes to get a new can. I feel like our trash cans got it's a little more busted than I think we deserve. You know, like the wheel's a little off, and what's it take to get a smooth trash can? And why not? It's not a high priority. It's got to be, you know, here, probably on my sheet for me to do, and a C to want to do it over lunch. And put it back on the list and try. The other thing that did not get done was to attend an improv class. I signed up, but for this particular session, I guess some people had dropped at the last minute, so it, you know, took that number down to not enough to run a class, which I get. So I've opted to reschedule for a later date. I'll keep you informed of that. And what needs to get done? Well, I need to make sure that the change of schedule with this improv class is documented on my calendar and in my phone to set the reminder that I function with. And I want to put the trash request information on next Monday's sheet. I might even write it in, like right around that noon time when I usually take lunch, and see if that helps push it to something that I can actively pursue with as little resistance as possible. What should I stop doing? I should stop avoiding spending time on my journal entries at work. I try to take each project and kind of keep more notes about the experience I'm having, where I have encountered like some sort of inconsistency or something I had to request, just kind of like a way to capture what can really eat up the time with submittals. And it's hard to put forth the time to implement this, but it's so worth it. And it just takes a brief moment. So, again, to stop doing is to stop feeling guilty about spending the time to do that. And what did I learn this week? And what can I do with this knowledge? I feel like what I've learned is that I can get somewhere with this file management. This is, of course, thanks to AI. It's helped me kind of figure out a system that works with my brain. So I think that the reality is I can do this. So what I learned is to keep going. It's tedious, but it's not bad. It's kind of interesting to take a brief second maybe to see what these things are. Trying not to get hung up on what I'm going to do with them. Just get them moved and identify the duplicates and get it done. So that's all I have for this week. I need to pull out next week, fill in any of the necessary scheduled appointments or things like that to be ready to try my best and take control of my life in a manner that helps me see things and optimizes my possibilities of actually getting my things done. So all we can do is try. If you like today's content, don't forget to hit subscribe. And until next time, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.